Today, we are tackling one of the absolute most heavily debated topics in the entire job market. We're talking about the eternal showdown, college degrees versus real-world experience. Every single professional, at some point or another, has had to weigh the value of what they learned sitting in a classroom against what they've learned actually doing the job. So today, we're going to explore a really fascinating academic study that puts this exact debate right under the microscope to see what employers actually want when push comes to shove.
Okay, let's dive into this and lay out our roadmap for the analysis. We'll kick things off with the ultimate hiring dilemma. Look at the Thai job market context, see who exactly they surveyed, and then get to the big question: experience or higher education? After that, we'll look at climbing the corporate ladder, and finally, wrap up with how to actually win in today's market.
All right, starting with Section 1, the ultimate hiring dilemma, the classic catch-22 of the job market.
We've all been there, right? It's that universal pull-your-hair-out frustration. You need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience. It literally boils down to this fundamental question: which matters more when a hiring manager is staring at your application, the formal education of a university degree or the practical hours logged on a resume? It's a super high-stakes competition for talent, and HR professionals have to make this exact calculation every single day. So the study we are looking at sets up this really beautiful contrast between these two paths. On the one hand, you've got higher education. It provides deep, theoretical knowledge, and sure, it requires a massive investment of both time and money, but it's constantly evolving. On the other hand, work experience offers practical skills and immediate value. Employers absolutely love experience because it means a candidate can jump in and do the job with almost zero handholding. Both are incredibly valued, but they offer entirely different things to an organization.
Moving on to Section 2, the Thai job market context. This is a fascinating microcosm for global hiring trends.
We are actually using Thailand's unique economic landscape as our case study today because its pronounced shortage of highly skilled labor makes it the perfect test subject for this global dilemma. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why. Looking at the data on higher education institutions by region, just notice the absolute dominance of Bangkok. With nearly half of the country's universities located there, there is this massive migration of ambitious students leaving the provinces and heading straight to the capital. This centralization creates a highly competitive, total pressure cooker environment for both the job seekers and the recruiters.
But hey, geography is really only half the story here. The culture plays a massive role. In a predominantly Buddhist nation like Thailand, there is a profound workplace emphasis on moderation, kindness, and social harmony. Outward displays of conflict are generally frowned upon, and get this, loyalty is highly personal. It's often directed right at the specific person who hired them, not just the faceless company. So for an employer, finding a candidate who seamlessly fits into this respectful, teamwork-oriented environment is just as crucial as checking off a box for technical qualifications.
Section 3. Who did they ask? Let's take a quick look at the demographics of the study. Out of the 400 people they surveyed, a massive 74.2% were company officers. This is absolutely vital. We aren't just looking at the theoretical opinions of a bunch of students or professors here. Nearly 3/4 of this data is coming straight from the corporate officers sitting on the other side of the desk, the people actively making those hard hiring choices.
And it gets better because this wasn't just some random sampling. The researchers used targeted, purposive sampling aimed right at the beating heart of Thailand's commercial and financial sectors. We're talking Sathorn, Silom, and Asok roads. They basically went to the epicenters of business to guarantee this data reflects the gritty realities of a modern, highly competitive corporate environment.
Okay, Section 4, experience or higher education. Time for the big reveal from the data.
So the crucial point is this staggering absolute knockout of a statistic, 82.2%. When these decision makers were asked what determines the importance of working in an organization, an overwhelming, undeniable majority sided with work experience over higher education.
Just listen to this direct conclusion from the researchers themselves. Most respondents, 82.2%, thought work experience is important for working, while 17.8% thought higher education is important for working. In that initial recruitment phase, when an employer is literally just trying to figure out if you can do the job today, real-world experience is the definitive winner. No contest.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the nuance. Because despite experience winning that head-to-head battle so decisively, look at what happens when they asked if higher education is very important when recruiting. 67.2% said yes. So a degree might not beat experience in a cage match, but a solid majority still view it as a highly important baseline. It's the foundation that actually gets your foot in the door to begin with.
Section 5. Climbing the corporate ladder. Because what happens after you get hired?
When the researchers asked if higher education or 5+ years of experience would lead to higher-level management responsibilities, both scored as higher than normal. But check out the mean scores. Higher education sits at 3.62, while 5 years of work experience pulls ahead at 4.14. So once again, the degree gets respect, but proven time in the trenches, that's what gives you the real edge for leadership.
And the study points out a pretty harsh reality check here, particularly when the economy takes a dip. Companies are actively looking to reduce costs, right? A candidate with a shiny, fresh degree is great, but a candidate with experience requires almost zero training. They offer immediate, measurable value. When budgets get tight, the person who can hit the ground running on day one is almost always going to get the nod.
Finally, Section 6, Winning in Today's Market. Let's translate this data into some actionable insights for your own career.
The researchers actually asked these managers what specific attributes are most important for employee performance, and the results might surprise you. Possessing a vision of work duties and an ability to cooperate and support organization activities actually scored higher than the academic degree itself. This proves that having a great attitude, understanding your role clearly, and being a genuine team player are incredibly powerful assets. They can absolutely outshine a purely academic background.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a complete winning strategy, straight from the author's own recommendations. First, bridge the gap early. Complete internships or apprenticeships before you even graduate. Second, prioritize clear communication. Your speech and writing matter immensely. Third, deliberately combine your theoretical degree knowledge with practical life skills. And fourth, when you're sitting in that interview chair, focus entirely on highlighting the direct, measurable value you are going to bring from day one.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Take a really hard look at your own resume today. Based on the overwhelming preference of the actual corporate officers making the decisions in this study, are you relying way too much on your degree, or maybe not leveraging your experience enough? It's a massive question, and it is absolutely worth asking yourself before you make your next big career move.